Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about feeling ignored. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, what is the best way for a software developer to avoid feeling ignored when a Rockstar engineer joins the team? Age, personal maturity, being the eldest in your family, or being the middle child in a family. These sorts of things, I would suspect, because you are. I'm sorry. Are you asking? Are you asking me whether or not you can how to get seen when someone who is better than you has joined the team? So if you are that desperate for attention, then you have some very serious self confidence issues that I would look at first, because my friend, the work that you do in your company is not about you. If a Rockstar engineer joins your team, and we assume now that this is like a real Rockstar person, there's nothing you can do. This person is better than you. And I know that sucks, but there are people like that, my friend. It's sort of like how most people have to face the fact that there are people, like, you could love something. It doesn't matter how much you love it, you will never be as good as someone else who does it and makes like success of themselves. There are people who are better at all of the things that you like, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Well, apart from continue sort of doing your grind. But I mean, if you think that it sucks being ignored when a Rockstar joins your team, imagine training your entire life to be like in the Olympics or something like that, investing more than most humans have to invest in anything, and then realizing that you're always in the last positions. You train as much, you do everything, and you still can't get into the top positions because you are genetically, or like for whatever reason, never able to bridge that gap between the person who wins and coming in last practically every time. It sucks. But that's the part, that's storytelling for you, modern day storytelling. It's getting better. It used to be the case that we only saw everything from the perspective of the winner or the super person or so forth and so forth. And we're sort of starting to understand that, hey guys, there are interesting stories being told from other areas of the spectrum where the loser's perspective is sometimes kind of fun to see, etc., etc. And you, my friend, you're going to be one of those loser stories. You are now going to get the same choice as there is a nice movie which is called The Other Guys, which I think that you should watch if you haven't watched it. It's Will Ferrell, The Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, and Mark Wahlberg, I think. Yeah. Anyway, the movie is basically around these two super cops who are they are the people that you would watch in those old cop series, and then you have the other guys, the guys who just sit at their desk and are basically the losers, and you got to sort of see their perspective. How is it to be ignored, be the nothing guys in an office where you have two rock stars who just they do everything and they're amazing and so forth and so forth. And the basic plot and the basic lesson of the story is that you can turn yourself into a winner as well, and you don't actually have to compete with the people who are in the public eye and the people who have all the attention, etc., etc., because it's not about you, it's about them. They are mainstream, or like they are the people they have talent and the attention of people. And if that is something that you desire, well, then you can join the Instagram, the army of Instagram people and Facebook people, and like everybody who wants the attention and like the adoration of other people. You can go and do that. But in your field of software engineering, that is going to be difficult, my friend. Because in software development, unlike social media, usually the thing that matters is what can you do? Because you can't sell talent. Or rather, you can't fake talent so well that, or you can to a certain degree, but it's going to be practically impossible for you. Because if you have a true rockstar engineer, usually why they get the attention is, as I said, because they can actually produce things. And the only choice you have in that scenario is to go and start producing stuff yourself. And if you have a good manager, which sort of, I hope, they should be able to figure out that it's not healthy for the team to bet everything on this rockstar developer, because that means that the team is basically this person plus somebody plus everybody else, which means that if that person leaves, or so forth and so forth, the whole thing collapses. A good manager will understand that you have to empower a person who is a rockstar to be as good as they can be, but you can't neglect the rest of the team. So if you feel ignored, it's a complicated combination of your own needs as a human being of getting attention. And if you are like a narcissistic type of personality where you need to have that attention, there's not much we can do about that. But at the same time, if you have a manager who doesn't understand how a healthy team is built, they're not going to sort of to figure this part out. And if you do really have a rockstar engineer, that person should be good enough to understand that, hey, you know what? It seems that in this specific team, I am above the curve in talent and so forth, but it's also very important that I don't take over this team and everything becomes about me, because if I do, it's going to hurt the end state, or like the end results. So it's probably good if we build up like some type of rapport with each other, so that the teammates who might not be able to produce at the sort of level that this person is able to produce gets the benefit, like they create a good connection, so that person might be able to share some of their amazing genius with these people, and in return the entire team actually gets more healthy. It's sort of how it works in football, where you have star players who some football clubs buy for millions and millions. Their contracts are worth insane amounts of money, but they still have to play with some people who might not make the same sort of ludicrous super money. And if they hate each other, or if they perceive this superstar as being this arrogant diva who nobody wants to work with, the team is still going to lose. And so that's the dynamic that you're trying to figure out, right? And that's why you, as I said, like your focus should be to understand that you're not here to be, famous. It's not about you, it's about the work that you are doing. And at the same time, it's about everybody else to understand that to work as a team, everybody needs to a certain degree be seen and heard. But you can't at the same time do this weird, crazy thing where, all right, we should just make everybody equal. When reality doesn't work that way, guys. Reality works in this very unfair way, where you are going to have to face that some people are going to be a lot better at stuff that you care about, and there's nothing you can do to change that. So what I want you to take away from this is that, well, if you feel ignored because a rockstar engineer has joined the team, I say grow the fuck up, because it's more healthy for you to understand that there are, if you do a good job, if you really do great work and you are not getting acknowledged, then you can move to somewhere else. But I think that that's a very dangerous thing for you to. It's a very fine balancing act, because if you go too far to the one side, you become this attention whore who feels like that you need the adoration of other people to feel good about yourself. That's not a good path for you. I promise you, that is where like that route leads to down to some really, really dark places. But at the same time, you can't, being so humble that you never ever feel like you can be acknowledged for anything and then being completely ignored by the rest of the world. That's also not sustainable. It has to be a balancing act. And in order for you to achieve that balance, you have to understand that working hard and doing a really good job and being proud of yourself is just as important as the rest of the team acknowledging when you do a good job, just as the Rockstar. Sure, the Rockstar might be able to do a quote-unquote good job more often because they're really, really good. So try to learn from them, and in return, they have to understand that they're not the only kid in the sandbox. There's more kids around. They can't just take all the sand. They have to share a little bit. And then we try to find a level where everybody sort of feels like you are being seen, you're being heard, and you are being rewarded in proportion to the work that you produce and the talent that you show. And that is the healthiest way to structure any software team, and I would say probably most human teams overall. That's at least what I've always found. Have a great day.